It is Artie of Artie's Corporate Fiction. How are you doing on this wonderful holiday, beginning to this holiday weekend? I hope you guys have been doing well. We got a couple of videos to take a look at tonight. I think they're going to be pretty awesome. This one is from Judge Middleton that we're going to take a look at, and then we're also going to take a look at Juan Galt's discussion with BSBT on Juan Galt's most recent video. I think it's going to be fun. And Kidro, thank you for the shout out. Thank you for the link that I think will be also very relevant to tonight's discussion. I did say that Juan Galt is free to come in to talk about it if he wants. So if he's on there, Juan, you can join in on the live stream chat. There you go. Now I'm part of it. And let me share my screen. So there you go. But we're going to take a look at Judge Middleton. Judge Middleton's Sovereign Citizen video, which I heard was a really good one. So I think Mike has already showcased it, but it should be good. In case you guys are wondering, I had to delay the video. It was delayed the stream. I was originally going to go on at 5 o'clock, but I decided to touch grass for a little bit. Hang out with some friends for a little bit of happy hour. So I'm a little toasted. I'm a little tipsy, so we're good to go. All right, we're going to get this show started.
Judge Zara.
Yeah, I'm going live here, so we should.
Okay,
probably...
yeah, got it.
Good morning.
There's the legend, the other legend, Deborah.
Good morning. We're gonna start early. We've
in the
got
house.
Landlord-tenant matter set at
Matt Hatter, thank you for becoming a member.
Unscheduled matter we're gonna deal with, and we'll do that here. So good morning, everyone. Beautiful day here in Michigan. Frank's here. He's ready to go.
Get your plea collar? Got your plea collar? Your plea collar.
Mr. Aiken, why don't you come over here and have a seat?
Never know when you're gonna need it.
I never know. Andy, I'm gonna mute your mic. All right, this is the morning we would be beginning landlord-tenant matters here in a bit, but we've got an unscheduled matter. Mr. Justin Michael Aiken is here. File number 222036 alleges no insurance under the insurance code. File 222037 ST alleges driving suspended first offense and improper plate. Those are alleged to have occurred
Gia, thank you for the $9.99 super chat. Wanted to donate yesterday, but didn't want to interrupt the awesome video on Joy the Dwarf. Thank you very much, Gia.
On October 18th of last year. Also, the case is file 2240 SM, alleges no insurance and driving suspended on January 1st of 2023. Mr. Aiken is here. This matter was set for jury trial on Wednesday, May 24th.
Oh, yeah?
Deborah Davis is here with us from the prosecuting attorney's office. She had been managing these cases, but she was obligated to try another case in the circuit court on Wednesday, very important case. And Casey Johnson was assigned then to handle this case. And he
Nice,
was
Sean.
here Wednesday, ready to proceed. We had prepared the jury instructions. We had 30 jurors here, and we were prepared to go to jury trial on the October 18th case. In your case, you had steadfastly maintained your I'm not sure, lack of responsibility, I won't say innocence, but and expressly indicated you did not want to have an attorney to represent you. And you also steadfastly remained in your request for a jury trial. And
wait, so who's Andrew Rogness? Is he with the, I guess, with the sheriff's department or the police department? I assume that's who he's with, because obviously he's not the defendant's attorney.
We were here. We had 30 jurors who all took the day off, and we were prepared, and you didn't show up. And so I issued a bench warrant for your arrest.
Naturally.
And I said on the live stream that if anybody knows Mr. Aiken, have him come turn himself in. And that was Wednesday, and here it is Friday morning, and here you are. Mr. Aiken, what's your position here?
Well, Your Honor, I'd like to apologize to you and everybody that was here for the trial. And I got scared that day, and I apologize to everybody for not being here. And if we could work, some kind of financial.
You got that Abraham Lincoln beard.
Plan, something of that sort, or whatever you feel necessary needs to be done, I'll get done. I'll take responsibility.
Mr. Aiken, have you paid your ticket in Coldwater?
I'm actually been trying to work on that.
Okay, so once that's done, you'll be able to get your license from the Secretary of State again.
Yes.
Okay.
And I plan on getting insurance as well on my vehicle.
Very good.
Well, we still have these two cases, which were set for jury trial. And what do you wish to do with those? You wish me to reset them? Or is there some?
Before you make that decision, the offer of allowing another to violate the motor vehicle code in each of those, which is the offense that doesn't carry any points on your license, so it wouldn't prevent you from getting your license once you pay off your Coldwater ticket and probably a reinstatement fee to the Secretary of State. If you pled to account in each of the files, we would dismiss the remainder.
All right, that was the original offer, and she bent over backwards.
Yes, that's Debbie.
So let me repeat what it is. You're charged with two separate incidents, one in October of 22 and one in January of 23.
Yep. Driving
suspended and having no insurance. No insurance is punishable by up to a year in jail. It carries a minimum fine of $200, a maximum fine of $500. It requires you to be fingerprinted, and it doesn't have a restriction. The driving suspended charge requires that your license be suspended. It carries 2 points, fine of up to $500 and up to 93 days in jail. The prosecutor is agreeing to dismiss all of that, plus the plate violation, for 2 pleas to allowing another to violate the motor vehicle code.
Dang.
Allowing another to violate the motor vehicle code is sort of a legal fiction. The other that it is allowing to violate the code is yourself. But it carries no points. It doesn't get abstracted to your driver's license and won't affect your ability to keep or maintain your license.
So it sounds like a very, very, very good deal that Debbie's offering this guy.
Ms. Davis had made that offer at least twice before and you declined it. Are you willing to accept that at this point?
I'm willing to accept that, Your Honor.
All right, did anybody promise you anything to get you to plead to this?
No.
Diana, you need Debbie?
I just need a signature. Thank you, Judge.
Sure.
And let me out. I'm sorry.
You can keep that.
Am I back?
No, actually, no, I need it back.
Hey, I see you,
I
Jessa.
thought you might need a pen.
I don't typically work paperless, but that's an amended information.
So far it sounds like, I guess, reality, the cold water of reality kind of hit this guy. So it sounds like he kind of had the realization, but we'll see.
Mr. Aiken, let's talk about that. Other than what Deborah said and what I just explained to you, did anybody promise you anything to get you to plead to this?
No. It was all me just wanting to get this taken care of and resolved.
All right, anybody threaten you?
No, sir.
Do you understand that if you do plead to these charges, you'll be giving up your right to have a trial in front of a judge or jury?
Yes, I
If you had a trial, you would have the right to be represented by an attorney.
Yep.
All you gotta do is ask me, but you've been adamant throughout that you did not want to have an attorney to represent you. If you had a trial, you'd have a right to have any of the witnesses for or against you subpoenaed to come to court so that you could be questioned under oath. You would have the right to take the witness stand yourself and testify, but you don't have to because you have a right not to testify. And if you did not wish to testify, the judge or jury could not hold your silence against you.
True.
And you have the right to be presumed innocent if
True.
and until the state was able to prove your guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. You understand?
yes, sir.
True.
2230236. All right, were you driving a car in Constantine on October 18th of 2022?
Uh-oh.
I was driving.
Traveling. Well, did you not have insurance on the vehicle at that time?
I did not. I just purchased that vehicle within a week during that time.
It was a truck. not
Yeah, it was a
car.
truck.
All right. I'm gonna order a $75 crime victims rights fee, $50 state minimum fee, $125.
A lot of states do permit jury trials for traffic matters. Not a lot. Well, yeah, a fair amount. There, let's put it that way. A fair amount of states permit jury trials.
All right, that takes care of the first case. In the second case. Oops.
Am I echoing?
That's 2, 3. 40.
I think it's on your end, delete laws.
Order 10 days jail, credit 0, leaving 10 days to serve.
Shut up, Omega. God, you're so needy.
Same thing, $125, due by July 1st of 23. I also find that you're in contempt of court
Ooh.
for failing to appear for your
Uh-oh.
jury trial on Wednesday.
Which I agree with. Which I actually agree with. If he's going to slap him for that, I agree. You're wasting everybody's time if you don't show up to court for your own trial. I agree with that.
You have some misinformed, misguided notion that the laws of the state of Michigan don't apply to you. People refer to this as sovereign citizen, but that isn't what it is. There's no sovereign in it. I call it willingly misinformed defendants. There's no sovereign about it. And you wasted a whole bunch of our time.
Yep.
The prosecutor's time.
Yep.
Filed a bunch of documents that didn't mean anything. You were always respectful, but she made this very generous plea offer several times. But you wanted to represent yourself. You wanted to have a jury trial. The irony of this is that you demanded your rights as a citizen in the state of Michigan.
Yep.
To be presumed to be innocent, to have
Yep.
an attorney appointed, and to have a jury of your peers. If you got a jury summons, you wouldn't have shown up.
Yeah.
You would have said, I'm a sovereign and you can't dictate what I have to do as a citizen of the state of Michigan. But you're okay if you drag in 30 other people who took the day off work.
Yep.
Who were nervous the night before. They came in here and sat around here for 45 minutes waiting for you to show up. And you wouldn't have shown up if you had been a juror. It cost the county $565.
Woo!
In jury fees, and it cost the jurors probably thousands of dollars.
Yep.
To come in here for your foolish request. So the contempt was committed in my presence. I'm going to do it in the other case. 232036. You had been respectful, but that's disrespectful to me.
Correct.
To the prosecutor and to all those private citizens that came in here because of your whimsical. And I don't even know if they were sincere beliefs. Whoever sold you on this.
True.
Is cynical. They don't even believe it.
True.
You're just.
A lot of these SovCit gurus are grifters. They don't even believe what they're selling. Very, very true.
Like messing with the system. But when you involve 30 or 35 of your common citizens who get dragged into this, it's no longer polite or respectful. And you could have had a trial. They would have been here. It would have taken Mr. Johnson about a half an hour to put in the proofs. I also understand, Deborah, he may have 4 or 5 warrants out of Elkhart County, Indiana, and a non-support warrant. So I believe he's also wanted in Indiana. And we'll explore that. For the contempt, I order 30 days, credit 0, concurrent with the 10 days I gave you on the other case. And the cost of the juror to the county
It appears there's 5 separate warrants out of Elkhart for same charge each time: invasion of privacy, violating protective order.
That's protection order expired as of January of this.
I don't know, but
Yeah,
there's
I mean, they're
apparently
all
warrants
from
for your arrest.
2022. They've been pending. I didn't realize that those were pending when we were doing all this other stuff. I can contact Elkhart County.
Yes. No, darn it. It was Wednesday, she sent me that. Cost was $524.05. So you'll $525 restitution for the cost of the jury. You got a sweet deal from Miss Davis. My advice to you is you get a driver's license like everybody else, like all those jurors that came in here to hear your case. And you stop driving. Now, did somebody bring you here today?
Yeah.
You got 10 days
30 days of contempt?
on the driving charge.
Oof.
You weren't traveling, you were driving. You got 30 days for poking me in the eye with a sharp stick
Ouch.
by not showing up for a jury. And you got pending warrants from the state of Indiana and possibly others from Michigan. You're gonna be in jail for a while, so I'm gonna change that due date to August
He's
1st.
got 5 open warrants in Indiana on top of everything else.
Not
Sounds about right.
July 1st. On both
Oop.
of those.
Not mean to open up my own live
All right,
stream.
you can go to the court office, sir.
Thank you.
You could have made things a whole lot easier. You can have those envelopes, Frank. Thank you, Deborah.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Juan, I see you in the live stream chat. We'll get to the your video right after this.
Yeah, yes, it was, Mr.
I'm sure
Right,
everybody
miss.
watching on YouTube swallowed their false teeth.
Well, I'll be with you in a minute. Let me
He
get
knows.
situated here. That guy, just came walking
Yeah,
in.
mine's gonna be quick.
We'll see if we can extend it. He's fast.
All right, looks like we're going. All right, let's go for the next video of the evening. Juan. All right, Juan, are you there with us?
I'm here.
Perfect. All right, let me share so you can see it too. Make sure the audience can see it. There we go.
Okay, this should be very interesting. At least, I think, the most entertaining video I've ever uploaded. This is from a live stream when I was confronting BSBT, Peoples, and John Felix about my last video title, and they were calling me a liar. Seems like they were triggered because I made up the definition of SovCit and wasn't using the dictionary definition of the terms.
Oh, no.
Or sovereign citizen. Well, there aren't any dictionary definitions. So they were using the FBI made up definition. Talk about double standard. So anyway, sit back, relax. I won't be talking through this one because I've already talked through it. So enjoy.
Well, I'll be talking through it.
I also put in the title, or if you caught this in the community section when I teased this live stream, I also wanted to show you guys how we're going to say that Juan Galt is a big fat liar. If Juan Galt is here, let me read through the comments. Let's see if we got Juan Galt to come here. And if you don't, feel free to let Juan Galt know that we are calling him a liar right now, because I did catch him in a lie. I caught him in a lie. And here you go, Mr. Galt, you are free to come up to explain why you chose to lie to your audience. Here's Juan Galt and why he was lying to his audience. So this is Juan Galt's video right here, and you can see the title.
Educational video, but we've got a guy that I'm sure many of you have seen. Video came out this week. He was in a car with his dog, and he kept spouting all kinds of the SovCit stuff, and they finally arrested him and had to take his poor dog somewhere. So anyway, this is my reaction to another SovCit's reaction to this.
A reaction to a reaction to a reaction to a reaction. Like, are we 4 levels deep at this rate?
SovCit's video. So hang in there, sit back, relax, and let's.
So if you don't know what you were looking at, let's just review it real quick. That's Juan Galt reviewing a SovCits video of a SovCits, or I apologize. Let me make sure I state this correctly. That was Juan Galt react.
Veronica says, so this is Artie and Juan watching a video of Juan, watching a video of Juan addressing a SovCit, commentating on Juan's video. You're missing BSBT in there.
Reacting to a SovCit reacting to a SovCit video, right?
And I'm watching Artie.
And to my knowledge,
reaction.
True.
I didn't see anybody that was a SovCit in that video, but it's right in your title, Juan Galt. So please show me the proof that you know that those guys are sovereign citizens. I know from what you said in your video, these folks were talking about the right to travel, and it seemed like they took an interest in law. In my experience in dealing with.
Sure.
Okay, I just I want to give my definition of SovCit, and you can just remember it all the way through here.
Sure.
As we go.
To my advantage.
It's someone who promotes, parrots, agrees with, supports, or believes in their own interpretations of law, court decisions, and legal procedure and evidence. In other words, pseudo-law, and or uses pseudo-law in an attempt to avoid consequences of their actions, usually a traffic ticket. And I made a video where I put that in there and in the description. So this definition isn't new. It's something I posted 3 or 4 years ago. Okay, I'm done.
I would say I would agree with that. I would agree with that definition. My definition usually is shorter, but it basically, my definition has always been somebody who interprets the law in their own way to assert that the local, state, or federal laws do not apply to them based upon their own circumstances or their own special circumstances. I mean, that's basically been my general definition.
I think that was as long as mine.
Maybe, yeah.
With you, Mr. Galt. That is your criteria of labeling somebody that doesn't self-identify as a SovCit, but that gives you the right to tell that person that they should self-identify as a sovereign citizen. So I'd just like to see the proof of where you know that John Felix was the guy in the video who was reacting to another guy who I don't know was in the video. But John Felix, I don't think is a SovCit. He does discuss right to travel. I've seen him with guests that are anarchists. But to my knowledge, I don't know if John Felix is a SovCit or not. From my experience, he is not, but he does discuss some of the things that you might identify as SovCit. Anyways, Juan Galt, if you want, Nolly D, hello. Appreciate you being in here. I don't think I've seen you here before, but hopefully you enjoyed this live stream. Again, just to recap, let me put this link in the chat, by the way. I've run through all the clips that I had for you guys. So I hope you liked the clips, but I wanted to run through a deposition that you absolutely had to see, or that I felt was important that everybody had to see. And so what I'll do is I'll open this up to a panel, see if we have anybody wants to come in and chat for a minute. Joshua sent me here. Oh, cool. Appreciate that. Oh, and Mr. Galt did show up just in time. Your opinion is not a lie. It is my opinion. So, this is what Mr. Galt is saying. He's stating his opinion. Okay, but Mr. Galt, when you're stating your opinion, I'm glad you're here because we're going to play this one more time. You folks, as the audience, everybody that's not Mr. Galt, you get to tell me, do you think that Juan Galt is sharing an opinion or a fact? Because Juan Galt titles this video, the title to this video is SovCit, 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 right?
So this is Juan Galt's video right here, and you can see the title.
Educational video, but we've got
SovCit's reaction to a
guy
SovCit.
that
True.
I'm sure many of you've seen. Video came out this week. He was in a car with his dog.
Mr. Galt, was that the title of your video? We got people backstage. Let's bring up people. Hold on.
Yeah.
Who the hell?
What is going on?
I think that if Juan Galt wants to have an opinion, and then he should qualify it as an opinion and not state it as a fact.
Yeah, because my understanding is if you put something in the title of a video, it's kind of like you're stating it like a headline. This is a fact.
Yeah, right. You know, that's exactly what happened in the Johnny Depp Amber Heard trial. Right, the title. She didn't even write the title, but she just shared a link to the title in her Twitter feed, and I think it cost her $11 million.
Well, we have Mr. Galt here to defend his claims. So let's see how this thing goes.
You mean to
Mr. Galt, hello.
Hello, how are you today? Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
I didn't make any claims.
Did you write a title?
Well, yeah. Duh, you read it, didn't you?
And that's a claim.
No, it's not a claim. How's it a claim?
I didn't see a question mark.
How is it
Wait.
a claim for Amber Heard?
I don't care about. I'm not Amber Heard.
Well, if it's a title, I mean, a title is a claim. When you write a title, that's a claim.
Who says? You?
The court said.
They didn't say it to me.
Well, but you're not in court over this. I mean, you could be in court over something like this if somebody were to sue you for libel.
How could they? I didn't use anybody's name.
Well, it's
Neither
clear
did
you're
me.
talking.
I didn't use anybody's name, did I?
Neither did Amber Heard. Cost her $11 million.
Well, nobody sued me, so work it out.
Yeah, but that's a logical fallacy. Just because they haven't sued you doesn't mean you didn't defame their character by saying that they are a SovCit if you didn't have evidence or proof to back that up in the title. Maybe you didn't say a specific name, but who were you? Okay, let's pretend this is Juan Galt's deposition for slander or libel and his defamation of character deposition. Now you have to answer the questions truthfully, and you can't dance around the answers and you can't evade the answers. When you made that title, who specifically were you talking about? Were you talking about the two gentlemen that were the focus of the video?
I was talking about the pseudo law that was being talked about by those people.
Did you understand the question I asked you? The question I asked you was, was your title in reference to the two individuals that were the main focus of that video?
No, it was to the ideology of the pseudo law that was being discussed.
So,
When you said that this is a video of a SovCit reacting to another SovCit, who were you referring to?
I was referring to anybody who uses the pseudo law arguments that was being discussed.
But you were referring to the gentleman in the video as SovCits, correct?
Well, I was certainly referring and reacting to the pseudo law that they were talking about. That's what I was doing. Yes.
So
in my opinion, which I'm free to have here in the United States of America, and I'm free to express my opinion, that anyone who uses pseudo law to try to skirt responsibility for breaking the law is a SovCit.
Which is what I said when I first heard of, when I watched John Phalanx's video. And I think when I talked about it in my live stream, I think I said it pretty much like that, where, well, if John Flax is going to use your bog standard right to travel arguments of using this type of case law, citing to this portion of the Texas Transportation Code, then yeah, I think he's a SovCit, or he's very close to being a SovCit, because he's using the same pseudo legal arguments that other SovCits have used before. And I think that's what I've said.
And he said that he's been saying it and believing it for 20 years.
Yeah, he did say that too. He said he's been seeing since like the 90s. I think you mentioned that too.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
he said it in that
let me
video.
understand this correctly. So you're trying to define what a SovCit is, but then you're trying to avoid making the connection between your title and then John Felix was one of the two focuses of that video. So none of your title suggested a connection between a SovCit and John Felix, correct?
That's correct. Never used that word. I don't even think I knew who it was doing the talking.
But you said
So
that
then-
you're reacting to a video of a SovCit reacting to a SovCit. In the
Right,
video
and
you
a
was
SovCit,
John
and a
Felix.
SovCit. Hey, objection.
Okay.
Ooh,
I'm
objection.
Posed by one person. I'm not here. I'm not here to be
Filing
docile.
an amicus brief, man. You're being argued
Well, then I
against
tell you
by
what,
both
one
of the
of-
parties.
I don't have to answer your question, sir, until you depose me, and you haven't arranged to depose me. This other guy has. So I'm not going to answer your question, sir. Don't waste your breath.
Okay, how about this? If you're feeling ganged up on, this is what I'll do. I'll try to assume your position, and I'll try to be on your side. Like that.
Well,
was
I don't.
not
I'm
a
here.
title that was meant for John-
I don't need you to do that, Josh. I'm here. I can
Obviously,
take my
you
own
need-
position.
Obviously, you do need that.
Obviously, I don't. I'm here. I showed
Yeah, I
up.
mean, you can only answer one question at a time, but you don't like good ones, and so you deflect.
I'm not deflecting, sir. I'm answering the question. I
You're
don't know
making
who the voices were. My opinion of SovCittery, if you will, is anyone who uses pseudo law.
He's using pseudo law now.
The responsibility of their actions. That's all I'm saying. That's a SovCit to me. May not be to you, may not be to the FBI, may not be to anybody else, but it doesn't matter. It's my opinion.
So basically what you're doing right now?
What pseudo law have I presented to
Well,
skirt?
obviously-
No, quote
obviously,
the pseudo law, sir.
What do you mean by pseudo law? What's your definition of pseudo law?
It's self-explanatory, sir.
It's somebody that takes an interest in law and tries to help get an understanding of the law. Is that?
Yeah, okay, sure it is, BSPT. Sure. Yeah, that somebody who has an interest in the law. Okay.
What you would define as a pseudo lawyer?
No, it's those that will reject real law for pseudo law.
Real law.
Okay, so what about a Supreme Court case that has a dissenting opinion? And if I were to present the dissenting opinion, would I be wrong for doing that? And would you call me a SovCit for doing that?
I would say that if you're trying to rely on a dissenting opinion, which is not law,
As precedential value, yes.
it would be pseudo law. So yeah, that would be. I would consider that person a SovCit.
So you can't bring up any dissenting opinions on any Supreme Court cases, no matter how close they are. If it's a 5-4 decision, you can't review any of the 4 dissenting opinions?
You could, my opinion is you could refer to it, but if you're trying to refer to it as having any kind of precedential value, you're in trouble there. And that's my opinion.
They're not law.
Well, right, but they're a law by majority. I mean, we can clearly understand it's a law by majority. But what I'm saying is, maybe we'll just strip this all away. How do you define a SovCit? First off, Juan G, that's what I want to know: is how do you define sovereign citizen?
I already defined it like 3 times already.
Okay, so somebody that discusses law or takes an interest in law, because I haven't really got
That's not what.
clarification on
That's not
that.
what. Okay, let me say it real slow for you, Josh, since you can't grasp it. Okay.
Ooh.
I said
Please, I'm done.
anyone who uses pseudo law in an attempt to get out of the responsibility of their actions of breaking the law, in my opinion, is a SovCit. I didn't say anything about somebody who's wanting to study the law or explore the law. I said someone who tries to use pseudo law in an attempt to skirt responsibility for their actions.
Okay, did
I
see the
say
deposition
that?
I played?
Did I say that slow enough for you, Josh? Do you comprehend the definition?
Well, what hung me up was the pseudo law.
Yes or
thing
no?
again, which
Yes
we
or
kind
no?
of
Yes or
explored.
no? Yes or no? Do you understand the definition I just gave?
I understand.
No,
it.
because it kind of danced around. I mean, I don't really understand the pseudo law thing, though. Like, you keep saying pseudo law as if it's like some sort of ad hominem attack to maybe, even if somebody brings up a good point, but they're not an attorney. You know, for example, in that Pink Hammer Magic deposition, right? She asked, "Are you familiar with the Fourth Amendment?" And that lieutenant instantly like lost his mind over that, right?
He was.
Would you
He's a
define her
fucking.
as
He's a
sovcit?
fucking. He's a fucking idiot that should never be wearing a badge. That's the bottom
Well,
line
thank you
on
for
that.
saying that, at least.
On him and that sergeant, both of them are a disgrace as human beings, in my opinion, and they're ignorant of their own profession. They're the kind of fuckers. They're the kind of government people that I spent my career suing for fucking over people's rights.
So, would you say that was a clear violation of the Fourth and the First Amendment on the officer's part to her?
Well, I never saw the original video. I can only say, based on what I heard from the deposition, yeah, they violated her Fourth Amendment rights, and I would imagine if she was on the outside, that they also violated her First Amendment right. Now, I'm just going by what I heard on the depositions.
Okay, and then going back to the title of your video, would you maybe consider, or have you thought about maybe changing a title like that to SovCit ideology, or two guys seem like they have SovCit ideas, something maybe a little bit more opinion based and like a subjective type title? Because the way you titled it to me, I saw it completely objective. Like, you were calling and labeling these guys SovCits. Are you saying I was unfair in making that association?
I don't know whether you're unfair or not. Fair is, you know, a subjective term, but my opinion is subjective, and though my title is subjective, it expresses my opinion.
Well,
would
see,
you
that's
agree
where
that that title is?
You're using pseudo law
Yeah.
right there, and you're using it again when you.
How's it pseudo?
How is it? Okay, I'm glad you called it out, because I'm like, how was what you just said pseudo law?
How's it pseudo? No, first of all, you have to say, you can't just make a claim and say you use pseudo law, and here's the pseudo law. So let me hear the pseudo law, and then you can bloviate.
Yeah, the pseudo law is that you're making a claim that when you make a statement without a qualifier such as.
Oh, Carl Lentz is in the chat. Juan, I think you know who Carl Lentz is, right?
I've seen some video and heard his name through the years. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, he's the originator of the I:"man strategery. Yeah. He's that one.
This is my opinion, that you can later say it's your opinion. And the second example of you using pseudo law is when you said that you haven't been sued, therefore it's not defamation. The defamation occurs when you defame someone, not when it's
not Quantum Granter. That's
well, that's your opinion.
David Wynn Miller.
I don't agree with it, but you're entitled to have your opinion, sir, just like I am.
One of the oldest court cases in the history, Marbury versus Madison.
What's your point?
My point is that defamation is not defamation when it's branded defamation in an open court of law. It's defamation from the point that the defamation occurred. Marbury
that Marbury versus Madison wasn't a defamation case, but anyway.
No, but the concept is the same.
No, sir, you don't understand how you apply court decisions. That's what your layman. That's your problem.
No, any law that's unconstitutional is unconstitutional from the point that it's written, not from the point that it's branded unconstitutional in an open court of law.
How's that fucking relevant to anything we're talking about? How is that relevant?
Well, I think. Yeah.
What law have I put out that is unconstitutional?
Well, I don't think it's a matter of constitutional.
For defamation, it's the same concept.
How's it? You're making legal logic that is you're not able to make, sir.
What are you talking about? Murder occurs from the point of murder, not from the.
We're not talking about murder.
Open court of law. Theft occurs when the theft occurs, not from the point that it is branded theft in an open court of law.
Well, but that's here again. We're dealing with your opinion that it's defamation. That's the problem. My opinion, and I express an opinion and don't use anybody's name, is not defamation. I don't give a fuck what you say.
Who did you mean in that title? Because
She didn't use the name.
Yeah, because everybody was clear on who the title referred to, just like I think anybody in the court of public opinion is pretty clear on who you meant in that title. Now, I could get that wrong. That's why I brought you up here, is so that you could defend the position and say, no, I was not referring to John Felix. I was not referring to those two. But then that title doesn't make sense to that video at all.
Like I said, I had no idea, never heard of John Felix until somebody said, who is that? And I had to look around to find out who it was. I deal with the law on my channel, law versus pseudo law.
So I wanted to say, because I talked to you, Juan, beforehand, that when you, I think, linked me to his channel, or when you told me the name, I knew exactly who John Felix is. And John Felix, as I understood him, he was a pretty well-known First Amendment auditor. In fact, I think he was highlighted by a donut operator in a video a couple of years ago. But that's how I knew who he was. But apparently he's been doing SovCit stuff on the side as well.
Yeah, I'd never heard of him, never seen any of his videos, but I was linked to that one. I downloaded it, didn't even look at it. When I replayed it, nobody's name was on it, of course.
Mm-hmm.
And so I didn't know who the hell it was. All I was going by is what the guy was saying. And he was, believing in, promoting, supporting, agreeing with pseudo law.
Yeah.
And, just from that alone, fit my definition.
As a matter of fact, I think in the video that donut operator reacted to, he was calling the cops sovereign citizens.
And in my opinion,
he does that here too.
Like I said before, is when I talk about SovCit, I talk about those who use pseudo law to try to skirt their responsibilities for their actions. That's SovCit when I use it in my videos. I don't care what anybody else interprets; it doesn't matter to me. And like I said, I didn't use anybody's name. I still don't know if for sure it was a John Felix, but I've been told that's who it was. That's all I know about it.
Well,
and it doesn't matter. If it is him, then he would fit my opinion of a definition of SovCit.
Okay, so let me ask you this question then, okay? Because I know you've made videos about me. I'm not butthurt or upset at you. I could care less that you titled the videos with me in it SovCit, but you've referred to me as a sovereign citizen, correct?
Probably.
Okay, probably, or you have?
I have.
Well, I don't recall, but I probably did, because in my opinion, you are. In my opinion, you are.
Okay, so in your opinion, I'm a sovereign citizen. What if I don't identify myself as a sovereign citizen? Like, wouldn't that be key into understand? Like, if you were to come up here and say, "Hey, do you believe this SovCit stuff?" and I was like, "Yeah, I totally agree, and I consider myself a sovereign citizen," wouldn't you consider that a main qualifier to determining whether somebody was something you're trying to call them?
Not if I'm expressing my opinion, and I have my opinion of that.
No, I don't think the person needs to self-identify as a SovCit for somebody to call somebody a SovCit.
Of the criteria that makes them a SovCit, in my opinion. No, I don't have to prove it to anybody, any more than if I say chocolate ice cream is the best tasting ice cream there is. And you want me to fucking prove that?
Well, where I'm going with all this, because you've got guys like the Special K, K-Cuck, whatever you want to call him, Kevin Farrar from, Michigan, whatever you want to call that guy, he kind of like looks up to you. You know what I mean? Like he shared your video with the title in it. So here's what I'm guessing from a layperson standpoint, from just a dummy on the street standpoint, is like, they're going to read the title. They're going to say, oh, K-Far recommends this guy. He looks up to you. If you are calling the people in the video a SovCit, wouldn't you agree that it's kind of easy for the people that look up to you to go, oh, Juan Galt knows what he's talking about, and this is absolutely a SovCit, not, hey, in Juan Galt's opinion, it's a SovCit, but it for sure is.
Well, that would be on K-Far, not on me. Bottom line is, what does the title say? It says, I'm reacting. That means I'm giving my opinion. A reaction video is totally the opinion of the creator.
Okay, so in the titles, are there any question marks? Are there any question marks in your title?
I don't have to put question marks in my title because it's my opinion. Durr.
Well, an opinion can be wrong, or there can be differing.
The reaction is an opinion.
My opinion can't be wrong. Can't be wrong. You can't prove me that my opinion is wrong. If my opinion is,
right.
I'm right.
Is an opinion, but you're reacting to a SovCit. That's the statement of facts.
It's a statement of an opinion.
The reaction to the SovCit is an opinion. and that can't be proven. But the statement of fact was that you're reacting to a SovCit. That's
Well,
not
you're calling it a fact. I'm calling it opinion. Now,
No,
it's
I'm saying
it's
stated
factually my opinion. Yes.
you stated it as a fact. That the SovCit part, that was a statement of fact, and the reaction to it, your opinion of it, is an opinion, and that can't be proven. But in
Well,
your title,
you can't prove that I'm saying that he's a SovCit to fit your definition of what you think it is. My reaction is using my opinion of what a SovCit is.
yeah,
So just for clarity, make sure we're crystal clear. The title of your video is your opinion, and it's not a statement of fact, correct?
And, well, it's a statement of fact that I'm factually reacting with my opinion to these videos.
You're
That's a
factually
fact.
stating your opinion.
That's a fact. That's a fact. Yeah, I'm factually stating that I'm reacting to some videos. That's what I'm stating as a fact. Other than that, the thing speaks for itself because the people it's in the people's own voices. So those are, like I say, it's factual from the standpoint that's what they said.
so just to clarify,
Okay, so
anybody that argues an opinion that's not yet law, but is trying to make new case law, is actually arguing pseudo law up until the fact it becomes real law.
Yeah.
Well, it's not law until it is it?
Right. So they're a SovCit until the court agrees.
I'm just saying if they're using pseudo law, that means it's not real law yet, or ever will be, or might not be. Yeah, that would be a SovCit in my opinion.
So everybody
And
that
then-
argued for that abortion should be legal before Roe versus Wade was a SovCit, but then for the last 50 years they weren't a SovCit, but now they are SovCits again.
Well, I'm saying they were expressing their opinion on a particular topic here, abortion, and they were basing it, and even the Supreme Court who decided the case were basing it on pseudo law. That's why it was repealed. That's why many justices, including Ruth Bader Ginsburg, said this is bad law. So, although in my opinion, the judge's rationale was based on pseudo law, once they decided the case, it became law.
Can you answer Wolverine's?
Real law, it was still pseudo law.
Anything that is not law, and you try to say that it is law, but it's not, that's a pseudo law. Yeah, that's right.
Well, let me give you a life
Roe versus
preserver.
Wade pseudo law or not?
Excuse me, you guys you can't you talk at the same time, and I'm one person.
I know. I'm
You're
trying
two.
to finish this one line of questioning about Roe versus Wade. Was Roe versus Wade, was that pseudo law?
What, you didn't hear me? See, this is why you guys need to be quiet while I talk. I said, in my opinion, the majority rationale was they used pseudo law, but once they made the decision, it became law.
Okay, but now it's pseudo law again.
Well, there is no law. I mean, they basically repealed that law when they overturned Roe v. Wade.
Yeah, so now it would be pseudo law for anybody to go into court and argue that they have.
I would say it's not. I wouldn't call it pseudo law in this context. I would say it's no longer good law. It's no longer valid law. Pseudo law pseudo law, in my opinion, has a more distinct definition than law that is no longer applicable. For example, Plessy versus Ferguson is bad law. It's no longer good law, but I wouldn't necessarily call it pseudo law.
It's no longer law at all.
Right.
So to claim that it's law, and a law that is not a law, is not genuine law, is not a real law, is pseudo, which means not real, not genuine.
That's okay. That's fair. That's fair.
Have a right to abortion to skirt responsibility.
Well, it's a matter of state law, so it would depend on what the state law says, that they would be challenging.
Well, I mean, they could challenge it in a federal court and try to argue it again on different for different reasons, right?
Well,
I have different arguments that have never been made.
Well, I don't know. I would have to hear your arguments.
Well, I would make the argument that a baby is not even a baby; it's a parasite.
Well, good luck with that.
Right, but it's a different argument. But it would be pseudo law at this time, right?
Absolutely.
right? And I would make the argument against abortion and say that actually it's a self-defense case, and that self-defense has always been ruled a privilege. It's subject to
I'd
the
like to
state.
see how a fetus would defend themselves. Well, you would be free to make any argument you want, but I doubt you would get very far in the legal system. I mean, you wouldn't ever make it to the Supreme Court.
Well, if somebody threatened to kick you in the stomach every day for 9 months, you could kill them, right?
Jesus.
I'm not going to answer that.
What do you mean? If somebody walks up and just kicks you in the stomach every fucking day for 9 months, you can defend your life, right?
Well, if they were doing it every month, obviously they're not killing me, are they? It's not a
Every
lethal
day?
blow. It's not a lethal blow.
Well,
You know,
a lot of women die. A lot of women die from it. I mean, you never know when you're going to die.
Well, you need to review the elements of, murder and things like that. Go to law school if you want to play lawyer and learn how the elements of crimes, and then what must be proven and what triggers the threshold that would make it murder or make it self-defense and things like that. Go learn.
Well, let me just say this. Well, it's pretty clear, Mr. Galt, that you've had an extensive legal history from what I've heard. I just wanted to make sure you were not going senile by putting titles in videos that were defamation of character, because as an attorney, you'd probably be smart enough to avoid making a claim in a title and then having to come on a live stream to defend the title.
Uh-huh.
I didn't come here to defend the title. I came here to defend your spurious remarks that I'm a liar.
But if you put the title together as a statement of fact and not an opinion, then you would be in fact saying something that you don't know if it's true or not. Just like,
I used in my title that I was reacting. It was my reaction, i.e., my opinion. That's clear to most. That's clear to most people that understand the English language. Most people understand a reaction video will be your opinion of it. Very clear.
So if you're, if you're not going senile, hold on just a second. If you're not going senile, and you're the type of person that wouldn't do that to somebody else, would you go and change the title of the videos you made about me where you put SovCit in the title?
But in my opinion, you're a SovCit.
So in your opinion, you have the right to label me a domestic terrorist, even when I tell you that I don't appreciate that. So you're the type of person that would do it anyway?
I don't consider a SovCit a domestic terrorist. That's your words, not mine.
Those are YouTube words. Did they put a disclaimer on your video?
I have no idea. It's not my job.
No, that's a great question.
In the title.
That's not your prerogative. That's YouTube. If you have a problem with that, talk to YouTube.
They put a disclaimer defining what a sovereign citizen is.
And that video doesn't have.
Well, that's their
way.
Oh, it doesn't.
Yeah,
that has nothing to do with my opinion.
Sounds about right.
That's their opinion.
I mean, do I walk around with a uniform and a badge, or do I wear a black robe? The answer to those questions is no. So how can you identify me as a SovCit when that's classic SovCit dress?
Because I told you what my opinion and definition of SovCit is.
So then if your
obviously, Josh, you have your opinion of what a SovCit is, as you just described.
Yep.
Okay, but my point is, and here's my point, and I think people was hitting this nail before I was trying to laser focus on it, is that YouTube will put the definition, the convenient SovCit definition, under almost any title that says SovCit in it, right?
Okay.
Does that definition match the definition that you gave tonight on this live stream? Do those two definitions match?
Do they have to?
I think it's very important that, I think that's the driving point to why it's so important to get these titles correct, is because if your definition doesn't match what YouTube's definition is,
you're entitled to your opinion.
But don't you see how if you're using the YouTube platform, your definition should match up with the definition they post on the video?
No, I don't see why it should.
People, do you want to take over?
I mean, that sounds like pseudo law to me.
Then you don't know what pseudo law is.
It sounds like you don't know what you're talking about, and so you're just saying it's pseudo law because you don't understand what the conversation's about.
Yeah, it's just
it's his new word of the day, and he's using it a lot.
Oh, I could tell.
Fact is your definition. Just about everybody fits that definition one.
Yeah, and I think that's the reason why you choose to use the term pseudo law. And that was my whole point of bringing up what is pseudo law, because I think anytime you hear something you don't like, you'll automatically attach the label pseudo law so that you can just get out of the fact that maybe you might be going senile and you might be forgetting the law that you learned long back in law school.
Well, that's where, again, that's your opinion, and it's incorrect as it applies to me, but you're entitled to have that opinion. That's very easy. You know, pseudo means not genuine. So it's not genuine law that, in my opinion, SovCits use. So they use pseudo law, not genuine, not real.
Okay, so if harm came to somebody because they were brandished domestic terrorist, and part of that responsibility is from videos where folks throw a SovCit label on it, and then YouTube throws out their definition of what a SovCit is, and then somebody says, oh, this is a terrorist, and we need to handle them like a terrorist, and then something violent happens to them. How are you not responsible partly in that whole scheme?
Because it's not my opinion. I mean, it's not my job to worry about what other people's opinion will be. And first of all, I never use the word domestic terrorist. YouTube doesn't use domestic terrorists in their definition.
Yes, they do.
Oh, do
Have
they?
you
Well,
read? Yeah.
No, I haven't read it.
Okay, so you haven't read it.
What YouTube does is they put a Wikipedia link to sovereign citizen. That's it. And then from there, Wikipedia might describe it as domestic terrorism, but that's Wikipedia, not YouTube.
Oh, hold on. We're going to go there.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
That file litigious paperwork and or a loose grouping. Yeah, it does say.
Come on, you said you knew what it was, dude.
I don't know the whole thing word for word.
Thank you. That's enough. You can be quiet now. If you don't know, just
But hey,
say
I'm
I
going
don't
to-
know.
No, that's not.
I'm pulling it up right now.
No, that's pseudo bullshit again.
Super. Thank you for the 5 gifted memberships.
It says a loose grouping of individuals that file litigious paperwork. The definition of a cop.
And judges.
Yeah, and lawyers. Who files more litigious paperwork than cops, judges, and lawyers?
Okay, and
I think you're missing the critical element of applying pseudo law when filing litigation, but I think he's lost on that one.
so just so we're clear,
get
Mr.
there.
Galt,
Oh, we do.
just so we're clear,
Apparently, I have not pre-watched this, so apparently I'm missing out here.
sovereign citizen movement, as defined on YouTube under the definition, and this is under a video that was titled SovCit, and it uses the Wikipedia definition.
Yeah.
And then the Wikipedia definition brings you to the sovereign citizen movement is a loose grouping of litigants, activists, tax protesters, financial scheme promoters, and conspiracy theorists who claim to be, and hold on, I had to click on a button to,
answerable to only their particular interpretation of the common law and believe that they are therefore not subject to any government statutes or proceedings unless they consent to them. Doesn't say a
Bam.
goddamn thing about terrorists.
Boom.
well, we didn't go far enough down this
Oh,
little rabbit
geez.
hole.
Now you want to move the goalpost.
No. I want to get to the definition because this is a long definition. The majority of sovereign citizens are not violent, and many will use pseudo-legal tactics in attempts to ignore certain rules. Okay, so let me get to the part here.
The
Also,
sovereign
because
citizen
some
phenomenon
wait,
is one of the main contemporary sources of pseudo law. Adherents to its ideology believe that the courts have no actual jurisdiction over people and that the use of certain procedures, such as writing specific phrases on bills they do not want to pay, and loopholes can make one immune from government laws and regulation. No,
Yeah,
I'm
but can I
reading
give
down.
you-
I'm reading down here. You know, how far do you have to go before they
the
use
last paragraph.
domestic terrorism?
Please read for me the last paragraph that starts with also, comma, because some have engaged. Please read that paragraph for me. It's the last.
Some, and you're talking about the FBI classifies. Well, I'm not the
Mm.
FBI. I'm not the FBI,
Well, it also says law enforcement, the FBI.
and I'm not law enforcement.
I don't think Juan Galt's law enforcement either.
Yeah,
And
but
I'm-
do you
and
see how?
that's their opinion, and it's not mine. So
And for some reason, you didn't want to read that whole paragraph. Could you read the entire paragraph for us so
Oh,
we have the full
sure
context
sure
of
I
that
can.
last paragraph?
Sure, I can. Terry Nichols, one of the perpetrators of 1995 Oklahoma City bombing, subscribed to a variation of sovereign citizen ideology. In surveys conducted in 2014, 2015, representatives of U.S. law enforcement ranked the risk of terrorism from the sovereign citizen movement higher than the risk from any other group, including Islamic extremists, militias, racist skinhead, neo-Nazis, and radical environmentalists. The New South Wales Police Force in Australia has also identified sovereign citizens as a potential terrorist threat. There. Finito.
Okay, so in that last paragraph, would you say that anything that what we're doing today on this live stream would resemble anything that would resemble a sovereign citizen extremist or anything to do with bombing or violence?
I don't know.
That should be a quick no. That should be a quick no. Nothing that we've talked about tonight endorses violence. Nothing we've talked about endorses any sort of extremist beliefs, correct?
Nothing I've said, certainly.
Anything that I've said.
Well, yeah, I think I would say extremist beliefs would be, that judges are sovereign citizens.
826934, is that you, Carl?
Yes, man.
How you doing?
Not bad. Let me just do some real quick. This first lady. If you actually read the opinion, the very first paragraph says this matter that is one for this time has absolutely nothing to do with abortion. It has the right privacy. That's what brought the court right privacy. That the government doesn't have a right to sit at the table between you and the doctor. So what I didn't understand is why all these Republicans, sovereign citizens, people want to overturn her for first lady. Because now there's been overturned, the government has a seat at the table. See, we're talking about right privacy. That Jewish lady get into court to our right privacy. That we decide between us and the doctors. The government has no right to have a seat at the table. And that's right privacy. There's right privacy.
Sorry, Carl. The chat's saying that the audio is garbled, but it sounds good on my end. Mandy, is it okay on your end?
No.
It's really? Really? Okay, it sounds
fine.
Yeah, me and Juan. Okay, it's
really choppy.
It sounds fine on my end. I don't know why. But does it sound okay on your end, Mandy? Like through Discord, I mean.
It sounds good. It sounds good through Discord, but on the YouTube side it's just choppy.
I don't know why that is.
I guess they don't like it.
Sure.
But that's what it is. It's the right privacy matter. That's what was before the court. Abortion had nothing to do with that ruling. And it was just an opinion. It's not a law. Every single Supreme Court ruling that comes down, it is the opinion of the court. At this time, with these parties who are participating in this matter that's before the court, this is our opinion. You'll always see them saying, this is our opinion. Not one time will you see the Supreme Court say, now it is the law of the land. It is our opinion. In this case, with these parties, with the matter before us at this time, it is the opinion of the court. That's all it is. Now, if you want to use their opinions for your case, sure. But it's not law. It's the opinion of the court for the people who are in front of the court at that particular moment in time with that particular issue.
No, but that's incorrect. When it comes to the Supreme Court,
Justice Plea said it.
No, when it comes to the Supreme Court, the ruling of the court, unless they explicitly say otherwise, it is the law of the land. It is the interpretation. It is the applicable interpretation of the law as it's interpreted by the Supreme Court.
You could read every single Supreme Court ruling starts out at the conclusion. It'll say it is the opinion of this court. It's not the law of the court. It's the opinion of the court.
Brown versus Board of Education is not law.
It's the opinion of the court for the case that was presented to them at that particular moment in time. Now, the same parties might appear the next day, and the court can make a completely different opposite ruling if the situation is a little different. It's just the opinion of the court. If you find yourself in that particular dilemma, you could use this opinion and how we should go from here. It's every judge is told his responsibility is to maintain status quo. Keep status quo. Don't try to improve the law. Don't try to change the law. Try to maintain status quo. That's all a judge's job is supposed to do. He's not supposed to legislate from the bench. He's just supposed to maintain status quo.
Well, hold on. Is stare decisis not a thing?
What's that?
Is stare decisis not a thing?
Yeah. Well, basically, yeah.
So then if...
Oh, shit. Oh, hang on. Someone's calling me. Sorry about that. It's my buddy who's working.
Enough said if that's his answer.
Sorry about that.
So one of the fundamental distinctions between English common law and Roman civil law is that under the English common law, judicial precedent is a thing where judge-made law is considered to be precedent and binding, or relatively binding by comparison to civil law.
That's called
right.
common law.
Yeah. So why would the Supreme Court's opinion not also apply under that principle?
So no, it becomes common law.
So
it becomes common law.
So then Roe v. Wade was
the
established precedent.
Right. If you had a similar situation where the government was trying to tell you what you could not or could do with your body, you could say, hey, look, if you want to take this up to the Supreme Court of Sovereign ruled on, the common law of our land is this. It's the common law of the land. It's not the law of the land, it's the common law of the land. It's judge-made rulings.
Right. But it's also beholden to the states. The states get the state legislature cannot say screw Roe v. Wade. We're gonna pass laws. So then how is it not different than so then how is the hold on.
Do you have
So
access?
let me
Do you have access to Google?
Carl, let me ask you this specific question. How is, if you agree on that principle, then how is the ruling on Roe v. Wade at the time, obviously, because things are different now, how is the ruling on Roe v. Wade at the time not any less controlling than, say, a law passed by Congress?
Okay. You have access to Google. Can you type in a word?
Of course I can.
Good. Well, dude, I'm walking in a pasture with a bucket of feed for my cattle, so no, I can't. I'm just no. I don't know what you're doing right now. Come on, come here. Come on, Sonny. Type in the word L. Just type it exactly like this into Google. LORE definition. Okay.
Lore.
That's the law. That's the law of the people, and the people are the land. So just Google LORE definition. That's what I help people with. I help people with the LORE. Can you read it?
A body of traditions and knowledge on a subject or held by a particular group, typically passed from person to person by word of mouth.
Ignorance of the law is no excuse, the LORE, because your mom and dad spoke to you. You might not have, like my dad couldn't read and write English. He was German. Ignorance of the LAW was totally within his scope. But he could never say that he was ignorant of the LORE. He couldn't steal, he couldn't lie, he couldn't cheat, because he wasn't raised by baboons, he was raised by a man or a woman. See, so ignorance of the LOE is no excuse. LAW, absolutely, you'd be totally excused, because unless you're a party to that matter, you have no right to determine the rules, the regulations, or the agreement. You could type in LAW definition now in Google, and you can see what I'm saying. It's the rules and regulations of parties, consenting parties, who want to join in consensually upon an agreement. It's the rules and regulations.
So is Google your law school? Is that where you went to law school?
No,
Google?
no. I got 11. Actually, if you went to
just tell me where you went to law school, sir.
Washington Lee University in Lexington, Virginia.
And you have your JD?
Okay. No. No.
Okay.
Because
Enough
if I
said.
did, no. If I did, no.
Enough
If I
said,
did,
sir.
if I
You're
did,
ignorant.
I can't. I could, if I became an attorney.
If you're an ignoramus, sir.
Okay, is that you're gonna do? You're gonna do a what are you gonna do? You're gonna do are you just gonna make fun of me? Is that the scope of your?
I'm not making fun of you. You've admitted
that's an ad hominem attack.
You've admitted
Dude, it's
you're
an
ignorant.
I want, well, dude. Carl, I would like you to know at what point in any like law decision, court opinion, or legislature that cited lore, LORE versus law.
Anytime Judge Judy, every Judge Judy show.
It's lore.
Every Judge Judy show. It's the people's court. There's no attorneys. Do you ever see an attorney in Judge Judy's court?
No, because it's usually arbitration that goes on there.
Judy, it's a Judge Judy show.
It's binding. It's yes. If you read the fine text, it's actually binding. It's if you read Judge Judy, if you read the fine print at the end of the credits, you find out that it's binding arbitration.
Can you use if
you went to law school, you'd know that.
If you and I went on the Judge Judy show to argue about the price of a car or whatever these people argue about, We can't bring in code. We can't bring in statute. We can't bring in common law. We can't bring in Supreme Court rulings. We can't do it. Did you ever see anybody, Judge Judy Show, bring in a common law?
That's because it's binding arbitration.
They bring in the law of the people, the LORE, the customs, the rules, and practices of our people. If you said you're going to pay for a car,
that's the
no,
stupidest
dude.
opinion I've
If
ever
you're
heard.
going to, no, if again, and on how many times I've been on the phone with you for 2
I've
minutes.
been around this
Have
shit
I have
for 50
have I
years, and
have I
that's the
give you an on
dumbest
how
thing
many
I've
times?
ever heard.
Have I give? If I asked you, can you give me the definition of an idiot? Do you think I'm an idiot?
Did I call you an idiot? I called you an ignoramus. That's
I'm an
lacking
idiot.
knowledge.
No, I am an idiot.
Well, I know
Did
that
ever
you.
Google the word idiot.
I've noted you've cited idiot or told people to say that you're an idiot on the matter of law in your filings. I've seen that before.
Why?
I actually want to know why do you tell people to say that in their filings?
I guess so. If I explain to you why, you'll stop calling me names.
I haven't called you a single name at any point.
Ignoramus?
I didn't call you that. That was Juan.
It's not a noun.
That was
But what
me.
I'm saying, why do you have to resort to? What does anybody have to resort to calling names? Why
Idiot.
can't we just have an open dialogue?
According to
Sir, you admitted you were an ignoramus because you haven't been educated in law. You
Idiot.
don't have the credentials to show it.
by Merriam-Webster, a foolish or stupid person.
Great, that's Merriam-Webster. And what did they say about Webster's dictionary in 1828 when he published it?
I don't know.
What was the opinion of
What
the
did
London
they say?
Times? Oh, the London Times reported
Who cares?
in the book,
Who cares?
in the book review of 1829, in the London Times, they said, we have no idea what Noah Webster is trying to do with the English language. It's been fine for the last 600 years. This guy is perverting the language. He is making words up. This is the most ridiculous form of dictionary I've ever seen in my life. Google it. Google it, 1829 definition.
Okay.
London Times opinion of Noah Webster's dictionary.
Okay, will you accept it from dictionary.com?
Dude. Except what? No, here you.
Number one, noun. Noun, informal, an utterly foolish or senseless person. 2, psychology, no longer in technical use, considered offensive. A person of the lowest order in a former and discarded classification of intellectual disability, having a mental age of less than 3 years old and an intelligence quotient of under 25.
Okay. And how about, okay, since you want to take it, and what is that dictionary and who wrote that dictionary? Where did the dictionary come from?
This is from dictionary.com.
Came from dictionary.com?
Based on the, here he is. Based on the Random House Unabridged Dictionary, 2023.
Okay. Okay, how about we go back to etymology? Okay. And how about
the
we actually,
etymological fallacy. Here we go. Etymological
Really?
fallacy.
really?
Yeah.
So you're saying it's a bad thing to try to use the etymology of the word where the word actually came from?
It
It's
can
a
be, yeah.
logical Yeah, it's a logical fallacy.
Yeah.
Why is it a logical fallacy to use the people who created that word?
Because-
And why is it a fallacy to use that word?
Because words changed meaning over time.
Really?
Yeah.
So okay, in what, in some societal order, like the legal society decides to change the definition of the words to fit their own convenience? Is that what you're trying to tell me?
The people decide it by common usage over time.
Yeah, what people?
Jesus.
The
people who are in
populace?
academia? No, the what people? No. You get, not all the populace. Because when I go to court and I explain to the judge, I'm an idiot, okay? And he has no problem with that. He totally understands it. There you go. I just sent it to you. That's the definition of it.
Wait, where'd you post it?
Post
Oh, there it is.
I don't know.
Latin, uneducated or ignorant person. From Greek, idiotes, layman, person lacking professional skill, as opposed to writer, soldier, skilled workman, literally private person. Okay?
Yeah.
You have the original Greek definition. That's not how it's used in common.
Latin. It's Latin.
Right,
No, so
but that's
we don't practice Latin civil law. We don't practice any of the Roman law. We don't practice that law. We don't do we don't the whole basis of legalese isn't based on Roman civil law. Is that what you try to tell me?
no, that's not what I'm saying at all.
Really? So then
what am I trying to say? Just because idiot has a Greek or Roman or Latin origin doesn't necessarily mean that the definition of idiot is going to mean the same thing as it did back then. Just because we have our our legal origins come from Roman civil law.
Do you see the rest of it I put in there for you? The rest of the definition?
That's fine.
What's the rest of it? No, what's the rest of it?
Literally, private person is supposed to take part in public affairs, usually patronizingly for an ignorant person. From idios, one's own. See idiom.
One's own. That's right, one's own. So when I step into a court and I ask them a simple question, okay? And I say to them, is this a legal proceeding? And they said yes. And what language are we speaking? Are we speaking English or legalese? And what do they say?
We're speaking English.
No, okay. Is there a way I could send you a YouTube video link? Is there a way I can send you a link?
You can send it through. You can send it through Discord. Just put it in the live stream chat. That'll be fine.
Shoot, cool. Because I actually have a judge from the bench who literally said in open court, there's a man who wanted an interpreter. Of course, he spoke Creole, a type of French.
All right.
And the judge said to his public defender, he said, honestly, sir, I hesitate to even speak slowly because you know as well as I do, Mr. Lentz, we don't speak English. We speak another language. It's called legalese. So she hesitates to even speak slowly to people because she knows if even we try to speak slowly, it's very deceptive. It's a deceptive language. It's legalese.
Her opinion.
Dude, it's a separate language. That's why I have my dictionary. One is written in legalese and one is written in English. Because they use different terms in court. When you say certain things in court, it means one thing in legalese in court and sounds totally different to the outside world. Like if I said to you, who has authority over my kids? Who has authority over my kids?
Let's see here.
I don't think you know what legal
Let's see here. In Latin, idiota was borrowed in the meaning uneducated, ignorant, common, and in late Latin came to mean crude, illiterate, ignorant. In French, it kept the meaning illiterate, ignorant, and added the meaning stupid in the 13th century. In English, it added the meaning mentally deficient in the 14th century.
Okay, where did the first attorneys derive from? Where were the first attorneys in civilization? Where's the first known attorneys?
Who cares?
Who cares?
We're not there.
Roman.
We're in 2023.
Yeah.
Roman. No. The reasons why the reasons why the attorneys were started in Rome is because Rome was such a huge empire, and everybody had different customs and traditions and beliefs in all the corners of the Roman Empire. So when they came to Rome, they had to bring people in to help interpret and explain to these travelers, explain to these people who wanted to deal in commerce there in Rome. You might do that in Ethiopia, but that's not how it flies in Rome. When you're in Rome, you do as Romans do, okay? And instead of getting yourself in trouble by doing a lot of this wacky stuff, like saying a dump in the middle of the sidewalk, you don't do that here.
If you're in Rome, do as the Romans do. But if you're in America, do as the Americans do. And in America, idiot is defined as a moron, as a stupid person.
Not in legalese. In legalese, it's a person outside of the traditional professions. It's a common man. It's a man who's not learned, and it's not dealt in academia. If you say you're an idiot,
what law professor taught you that?
Did you click the link I sent you where the judge says that in open court?
No,
you speak a separate language.
I don't care about that. I want to see it.
You don't care about what?
I don't care about what one judge said somewhere one time.
Really?
I want to see a law, a legal definition of 2023 of idiot. Now I would listen, but I'm not going to.
For who? A legal to who? To who? Whose belief do you want to hear? Who do you want to hear from?
All right.
How many? Who?
Hang on.
Donald Trump said it.
Hold on, Carl.
Artie has already given the answer that I wanted.
Hey, Carl. Carl, 14 idiot. Hold on. This is idiot. 14th century archaic. A person afflicted with profound mental retardation because of its frequent derogatory uses. This term has largely fallen out of use in modern legal and medical context. That's Black's Law Dictionary, 11th edition.
Dude, again,
under the legal definition, idiot is synonymous with moron, stupid person.
Okay. So good. Is right. Somebody who's not proficient in legalese. Are you proficient in Chinese, Japanese, Vietnamese? No.
Am I proficient? Legalese is. You do
it's a language. Dude, it's a term of art. It's just like if you dealt with a bunch of brain surgeons and a brain surgeon said to you, hey, you know, give me the number 1 wood, or give me the driver. He's talking about a little hammer. It's a term of art. It's things that within that societal order, they have a certain way of talking amongst themselves that we're not privy to. Unless we're part of the club, unless we're part of that society. Yes.
I'm part of the club. I'm part of the club, dude. And I don't sit around.
Okay.
We don't sit around and talk that shit. That's stupid. What we do is mostly legalese you'll find in contracts. That's about all you're going to find it in leases and in sometimes buying houses, or it's mostly contractual stuff. That's where legalese comes in. And quite frankly, the profession is cleaning that up a lot because they're trying to make it get rid of that forthwith and therefore and all this kind of shit.
So would you say the Bill of Rights was written in legalese, or would you say it was written in common English?
It's not written in legalese.
So it's written in common English, correct?
Well, I'm not accepting your dichotomy. I'm just telling you.
Okay,
what
just
it is
English.
not.
Just good, great. I'll agree with that. It's not written in legalese. And when they said that, right. And do you remember this little event that happened not too long ago? They came into Donald Trump's home, and they searched his wife's underwear drawer and everything else.
No, I've been living in a hole. Of course, I heard about it.
How did the FBI get access to his home? What did they have to do to get access? What did they have to produce?
Are you trying to tell us a search warrant?
Yes. And how are search warrants generated under the Constitution? Either one or two conditions must exist before a search warrant can be issued.
Upon probable cause and swore to the place and things in particular to be searched.
And finish it up.
Well,
read it.
Now you do some work. I'm not reading it. You do some work.
You don't know how a warrant is to be issued here in the United States of America. It doesn't matter to you, huh? How warrants are issued. You think he was issued a proper warrant? You think that warrant was proper?
I haven't seen the warrant. I have no idea.
They published it online. What, you've been living under a rock?
Yeah, well, yeah.
Yeah, I thought you said that you saw the.
I haven't seen it because I don't care. I don't care enough about the whole thing to care.
But I'm saying, did his attorneys challenge the proper, if it was proper or not? No. Why didn't they bother?
Why don't you ask them these questions?
What I'm saying is, why do you think they didn't actually tell Donald Trump that warrant wasn't issued properly?
I said I'm an attorney, not a mind reader.
Oh, okay. But that's what I'm saying. But you did read the Bill of Rights, and you do know what it says about issuing a search warrant.
Let me see here. Black's Law 2nd edition, idiot. A person who has been without understanding from his nativity, and whom the law therefore presumes never likely to attain any. Idiota. In civil law, an unlearned, illiterate, or simple person. A private man, not one in office. In common law, an idiot or a fool. Sounds pretty similar to the layman's definition of an idiot.
Here you go. Fourth Amendment. The United States Constitution says, in addition, it sets requirements for issuing warrants. Warrants may be issued by a judge or magistrate justified by probable cause, supported by oath or affirmation, and must particularly describe the place in search and a person's things to be seized. So, you have to go before the judge, and it has to be supported by an oath or affirmation, correct? We agree on that?
Well,
can we agree on that?
Well, just a second. The word judge is not in the Fourth Amendment.
Okay.
Signed by oath or affirmation, right?
Read the Fourth Amendment. You read the Fourth Amendment to us. Go ahead.
Well, the right of the people to be secure in their persons, houses, papers, and effects against unreasonable search and seizure shall not be violated, and nor warrant shall issue but upon probable cause, supported by oath or affirmation, and particularly describing the place to be searched and the persons or things to be seized. And that's basically what I said.
Right. So what did they say that they obtained the warrant? How did they do it? You guys haven't been on a rock. Are you some sort of attorney? I don't know if you're an attorney, or you could be a real estate attorney for all I know.
I'm a constitutional law attorney.
Good. Which one? Who's talking to me right now? Audie?
No, that's Juan.
Okay, are you an attorney, Artie?
Yes.
Okay, great. And how did they obtain that warrant? Was it by oath or affirmation?
I'm going to presume yes.
Yeah, you would presume. So would everybody else. No, it was issued under an affidavit. And there's no synonyms in law. Can we all agree in legalese and we all agree in law? There's no such thing as a synonym in law.
So-
Can we agree on that? Or we just
Supported
gonna
by.
make up terms as we go along?
Wait, so an affirmation is not an affidavit?
Are we, dude? Are we going to agree that when we say red means red and blue means blue, or are we going to start making up our own definitions?
Can you just answer the question?
No, it's not. It's absolutely
Okay, so an affidavit is not an affirmation. At least within the interpretation of the Fourth Amendment.
absolutely not.
Gotcha.
Absolutely not. Because one is written in English. There's no legalese mumble jumble nonsense. An affirmation means one thing, an affidavit means another thing, and an oath makes another thing. It was produced by an affidavit. Man makes affirmations. Attorneys make affidavits.
Wait, so an attorney is not a man?
He could be a man if he wishes to be, but why would he want to bear the liability? It makes no sense. That way he's just qualified. Immunity protects him.
So wait,
Why
so
would he decloak himself?
are you saying that I have not been a man since 2010?
When you step out into the public, you become a public actor. You
So-
ever study Rousseau?
I'm not a man by your for the last 13 years now. I've not been a man.
You can act like when you want to act like man, do it at home. When you step in public, act like a public actor. Act like somebody who belongs in the public. You have certain duties and obligations when you enter the public. You no longer have rights as man.
So Donald Trump is not a man?
Not when he's in public. He has to. He's acting in public. Your mom teaches you how to act in court, how to act at church, how to act in the store, how to act in public. You're an actor. You have to act. You can't be who you want to be in public.
Wait, saying how you should act in public is not the same thing as being an actor.
Yes, it is. You're acting. You have to put on clothes. You have to put on a certain costume. You can't just walk around naked.
No, he's talking
You
about
can't just put a.
it's contact. It's conduct. Jeez.
Yes, it's conduct.
Yes.
Yes,
you have to act. You're acting. The judge is the acting
No,
judge.
that your conduct is not necessarily acting. That's a
So,
I've heard
wait,
some dumb definitions by SovCit.
So is a man. So wait, whoa. So is a man? Wait, hold on. So is a man nothing more than an instinctual based animal?
God created man. Great. We all agree on that?
Sure.
Great. Did the government create man?
No.
So who has the authority over man?
Government.
Okay. What's the definition of authority? What's the definition of author?
Is this going to
Author or authority?
Author. Authority comes from author.
Well, author.
Who's the author?
What author of who?
Go for it. Author.
Well, what context are you talking about?
Dude, you're a lawyer. What's the definition of author?
I'm asking you for the context.
What law school to go to? Author. The definition of author.
Well, in the common layman's definition, an author is somebody who writes a book.
Good. That's number 3. That's it. That's the third definition. You got it. That's number 3. Number 1, definition of author is father. Number 2 is he who creates. Number 3 is he who creates and creates and brings it into the public. He's
Oh
the
God,
author, the authority.
you're a definitions guy.
J.K. Rowling's.
Okay,
I'll send you the link. I'll send you the link. I'll send you the link. Unbelievable.
Thank you for the $2 super chat, Theo. Mac.
If you guys
real
got
tackle.
to challenge me on every single thing that I do, it's going to take a while.
But because you're one of those definitions guys. You're one of those definitions guys.
Dude, of course, in legalese and law, words have specific meanings, and there's no such thing as a synonym in good law.
And in law, when somebody mentions author, they mean author of a book. That's the context.
They could mean that. That's it. That's one of the definitions of author. But so authority comes from what? Somebody who creates books?
Authority.
Authority.
Authority means somebody who has the ability or is granted the ability to give orders or to dictate something to another.
Or to tell an author what to write.
Correct. I have the authority to tell you to get out of the car. Means that the officer has some sort of underpinning dictate or underpinning justification to tell somebody to do something that they may or may, that another person may or may not want to do voluntarily. He's gone. Where'd he go? Oh, he's gone. He left. He may have.
His dictionary ran out.
Probably. Alpha says authority comes from French, author comes from Latin. Well, French is also, derived from Latin, but I get what you're meaning.
Yeah, the way they break down words it just fascinates me.
That's always been the thing with certain SovCit groups, especially when they do. As somebody, I can't remember what the freaking term is called. I was told it, but there's an actual term where people try to apply definitions of words based upon the symbology that they get. For example, how a lot of SovCits like to do maritime admiralty. So so they say oh, docket, obviously docket, aka docking the ship, etc., etc., etc. There's a term for that, for how people manipulate meanings and definitions to their own ends. Oh, welcome back.
Well, like birth is in a.
You see the definition I gave?
The birth canal.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Nope. It's simple. Do you see what I said with author? Do you understand what author means? I gave you the definition. Do you see it now? I put it up on YouTube.
Let me see. Where do you? Author, mid 14th century.
The common use of it.
Auteur, father, creator, one who brings about, one who makes or creates someone or something from Old French.
So can we agree that's what an author is? Can we agree that's what an author is, or is that too abstract for you to understand? Is that too bizarre? Does that sound like a birth canal to you, or does it sound like somebody else wrote hundreds of years ago?
Sounds like something somebody else wrote hundreds of years ago that does not have applicable meaning in in the current modern day.
Yeah,
so
it's archaic usage.
So some man who's saying to me right now on the phone that he's a constitutional attorney, constitutional lawyer. Is that what you're trying to tell me? And so you're saying that what they wrote 236 years ago is archaic?
Yes. Author, noun. Author, noun, a writer of a book, article, or report.
Could be.
Someone similar, someone who writes books or a profession.
Could be.
The writings of a professional author, an originator or creator of something.
Where did you get that from?
The Googles.
The Googles. And what did I give you from? I gave you the Latin and French version.
Yes.
What it means.
And it has the origin here too. And it has the origins here too. Latin, increase, originate, promote. Latin, auctor. Old French, auteur. French, added the th. A person who invents or causes something.
Orwell's 1984. What did George Orwell's 1984 explain what was going to happen to our language?
That words have meaning, and that they can change.
They're going to destroy the meaning. They're going to cut the words down smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. So it only has the meaning that the government wants you to have.
See, let's see. Authority. Authority, the power or right to give orders, make decisions, and enforce obedience. Origins, auctor, auctoritas, Old French, autorite. Old French, it's not even, so it's even in Old French, it's not even the same thing.
Dude, you just said it. You said somebody who has the right. Is that what you just said?
The power or right to give orders, make decisions, and enforce obedience.
The power or the right. The power or the right.
Okay, so what does that have anything to? What does that have anything to do with author?
Does a judge have rights?
No, the judge has an authority.
Power.
He
has
no
power.
rights.
Power or authority.
He has no, but he's missing the critical thing. He has no right. He might have power, but he has no right. He has a gun, but he has no rights to use it.
You didn't even hear. The definition was
he
power.
just-
Power. Shut up for a minute. Can you shut up just for a minute? Let's let Artie Knight finish a sentence. Okay. Artie's definition, which I had read also, was the power or right, not power and right. So the judge has the power.
But he has no rights.
And he's granted that right to that power by the people.
He could have certain limited rights, but our rights come from our Creator.
Okay, so now you're moving the goalpost.
He has the right to exercise his power.
He has the right to exercise his power over the consensual and non-consensual.
Whatever is before him.
Whatever I don't.
Consent is not a requirement.
Individualized consent. Individualized consent is not a requirement.
What did you just say about consent isn't required to do what?
To answer your question, you don't
To exert
your own question.
To exert power that's been granted to him.
You asked about being in front of a judge.
Okay, I'm in front of a judge. Okay.
Okay.
And we'll just start off from the beginning of a court case. I'm in front of a judge. Okay. Yep. Does he have any rights over me?
He has power over you, potentially.
Okay. What? Okay. Really? And when I'm before the judge for the very first time, and can he say that I'm the defendant in this case, or would that be voluntary?
He can say that you're a defendant. Yeah.
What if I wish not to be the defendant?
You can disagree all you want.
I didn't say disagree. What if I was just I don't see the benefit? Why should I? What's in it for me? Why should I?
Whether you see the benefit or not is irrelevant.
Why? And am I compelled to perform before the court?
Potentially, yeah.
Potentially, okay. What if I don't wish to perform before the court as a defendant? What's going to happen?
Well, the judge is going to make you. Is going to make you.
So I guess I have no rights.
He's going to exercise his power.
Yeah, he's going to exercise his power.
Because he has the right to exercise his power over Carl Lentz, this man. He has the right to exercise power over Carl Lentz, this man.
That's the smartest thing you've said so far.
Yeah.
Really? Okay. Well, and that's because I guess I'm guilty of a crime.
No, he didn't say that.
Oh, so you're saying he has power over an innocent man?
He has power over the citizenry, by virtue of what?
I said I never appeared as a citizenry. What's the definition of citizen?
I use citizenry as any person, human being that is before him.
Nah, that's not it. Coca-Cola could come before him. Coca-Cola's not a citizen.
They have agents that act on their behalf.
Dude, act on their behalf, but they have no rights. A citizen is a member of a family. Like the Gambino crime family. You were a citizen of Rome. Rome was the name of a family. So if you're a Roman citizen,
you've lived past your time. We don't live in Rome, dude.
Okay, that's fine. But what I'm trying to say is, after Rome passed away, after you're no longer citizens of Rome in Italy, then you became the citizens of the Lombards.
Right.
So you no longer said I'm a Roman citizen. You said I'm a Lombard citizen. I'm a citizen of the Lombards. A member of a family. So a citizen means I'm a member of the family. So I'm not appearing in front of his court as a citizen. I'm just wished at this point as an innocent man to stand here as a innocent man.
Okay.
I don't have to accept any titles, do I?
No.
I don't have to accept the title of defendant if I don't wish to, do I?
Sure, you don't have to. That's your opinion, though.
That's right. It's not an opinion; it's a fact. I don't have to accept that title.
Right, but you're
going to force me to. And
well, the judge is
force me to take that title.
Yes.
Then I don't have the right to say I don't wish to take this title.
Well, you have the right to you have the right to say it, but nobody's going to care.
Okay, so if I have the right to say I don't wish to take this title, You telling me he could say, I don't care about your rights, and you're going to take it? And
I
you're
don't
gonna let
care. No, he's going to say, I don't care if you say you're not a defendant. You're, in the eyes of the law, you are a defendant.
No, I
But
just say,
I'll call
no,
you
no,
Mr.
dude.
Lynch for if it'll make
No.
you feel comfortable. I'll call you Mr. Lynch. So now let's.
No, I didn't say
proceed.
Mr. Lentz. I never appeared anything. I'm just right here. I'm standing here as an innocent man.
Okay.
Now, if I
okay.
don't have the right,
okay.
if I don't
Innocent.
have, do I have
Okay.
the
Innocent
right, do I have
man.
the right this. Right. I'm just an innocent man.
Okay. Innocent man. You are here before the court on XYZ charges. How do you plead?
I got caught once doing it on Tuesday afternoons by my mom, and I don't do that anymore. Are we speaking English or are we speaking legalese? That's what I asked the judge.
Whatever you want it to be.
There you go. Unfortunately, like I said, I have the right to not appear as a defendant. I have that right.
Okay.
I'm an innocent man.
Okay, sir. Since you don't seem to want to make a plea, Rule 11 requires me as a judge to make a plea when somebody can't, won't, or stalls around. So I'll enter the plea of not guilty because everybody comes before me is presumed innocent. So I'll presume you're innocent, and we'll continue. And your plea will be not guilty, and we'll proceed to trial. Thank you, sir. You're dismissed.
Okay, and would you like to place an order with that?
I just gave my order, sir.
It's
Good.
on the
And
record.
what would you like me to do with that order? Would you like me to reappear?
See the clerk. She'll give you the date.
Yep.
And it would be signed and time-stamped? Will that be a bona fide order? Will that be
If it comes from my clerk and it's stamped with my signature, yeah, it'll be an order.
Okay, so if I carry the order, you have no problem paying me whatever I wish to claim for compensation for carrying out your order?
No.
Hey, you can wish in one hand, shit in the other, sir. I don't care.
Exactly.
Okay, and that's fine. Because, like I said, when I carry out an order, am I entitled to compensation?
No.
I'm not entitled.
Why don't you wait? Why don't you wait and see, and we'll see. Put in your invoice, sir, and we'll give a look at it.
So when I carry out an order, am I entitled to compensation?
Of course not.
Okay, then I'm a slave. Because a slave is a man who used to have rights, no longer has rights, and when he's ordered to do something, he cannot seek compensation. So now I'm a slave of this court. Is that what you're trying to say? I thought it was abolished in the 13th Amendment. I thought slavery was voluntary.
If that's how you want, if that's how you want to characterize it, that's fine. Go ahead and characterize it as however you wish, but the order is still going out to you, and no, you're not entitled to compensation.
Hey,
why am I not entitled to compensation? I thought I was an innocent man. I thought I was an innocent man.
You can consider yourself my bitch for all I care, but you carry out my order, I'll see you for contempt.
Oh, good. Bailiff, arrest that man. Why? He just communicated a threat to an innocent man in an open court, in a public forum, and in Virginia, that's extortion. When a public servant threatens an innocent man for money or compensation or to perform a service for him in the Virginia, in the Code of Virginia, that's extortion.
Sue me.
I don't have to sue you. I'm going to have that bailiff arrest you. And if he doesn't want to arrest you, I'm going to call the state police and let them do it. And if they don't want to prosecute you, I could, in Virginia, if the prosecutor won't prosecute you in 6 months, I have the right to take up the criminal charges against you for threatening an innocent man. And in Virginia, we do have the right to prosecute.
Have at it.
That's what I'm
I
saying.
don't live in Virginia.
Have at it.
What I'm trying to say is, if somebody gives you an order, you have every right to fair and just compensation.
Yeah, okay. You
work
on that.
If you say so.
No.
Well,
okay. Well,
Carl, let me ask you: have you been compensated for any orders that have been given to you in the past, 20 years? Oh, and he's gone.
By a court. Now he ran away again.
He made it easy. That's actually I want to ask him. Has he ever been compensated in the last 20 years? Because he actually has been a part of several court cases that I've looked up myself. I would really like to know.
You better qualify by a court order because
via court order.
Can you hear me right?
Yes. If you missed my question, I would like to know whether or not you have been justly compensated via court order for any orders that have been issued against you.
If you give me, like I said, if you go to one of my very first YouTube videos, okay, that I ever put up there, there's a man in England that gets arrested for drinking in public. And
He was
walks
asking
into-
about you, Carl. Hello.
I'm saying there's a
hello.
link. Is there some
No,
reason why
just
you need to
answer his-
interrupt me?
Yeah, because
Yes,
you're not answering
yes,
his
there's
question.
proof. The man he made a settlement for 20,000
He
pounds.
asked you.
We're talking about you, though. We're talking about you.
Okay, who would be crazy enough to order Carl Lentz to do anything?
That's not the question. That's not an answer to the question.
Dude,
Answer. You
No,
asked
the answer is no. No, the answer is no. No cop would be
Thank you.
crazy enough to give Carl Lentz an order. But they were dumb enough, and there's a YouTube video link because the guy did a FOIA request in England. When he was arrested, he was being processed. He was being fingerprint and mugshot. And he said, "Is that an order for me to give you my fingerprints?" They said, "Yes." He said, $500 a fingerprint, $1,000 a photo. He settled out of court for 20,000 pounds.
So FOIA, the United
He did a
States
FOIA request, and
that applies in the UK.
what you would call a FOIA. Okay, this is what you would call a FOIA. Freedom of Information Act. He would consider that in England. He put the link on one of my very first videos, and I said to him, "Well, if you got 20,000 quid, are you going to toss me 10%?" And I never heard from the guy again. Obviously, he wasn't going to give me a dime.
So that's your
And
explanation.
he put the video.
You're extrapolating all the way across the Atlantic Ocean for your support. What
Dude,
we
it
wanted
works.
to know, have you ever been compensated for any court order directing you to perform?
No, because no
I didn't
judge would be
think
crazy
so.
enough to order me to do anything.
You've
Okay.
appeared in court, I know that.
Oh yeah, you better believe I have.
Yes, you had a certain custody issues. You also had. You also didn't you also
Never had custody.
didn't you
Never
also
had a custody issue.
didn't you also sue
Never had a custody
Wawa?
issue.
Didn't you also sue Wawa or Sheetz over a cup of coffee?
Yep, but that hasn't. I have never served the people yet. We have not got to that point. All I did was the initial filing. It has not been served.
Gotcha. Well, wait, it was several years ago. I feel like it's.
It is not served. I have not served them. I have not had a process server
Probably,
serve them yet.
probably a 2-year statute on that thing.
Dude, it doesn't matter because I did not file in the United States District Court. I filed it in federal court.
Wait, United States District Court is a federal court.
It's that's what you believe.
Oh God. Okay,
Okay, do you want me to give you the 1840 ruling on it too? Would that make you happy?
That's.
You want me to give you the 1840 ruling, the difference between the federal court and the United States District Court? You want me to give you the Supreme Court ruling on that?
That's fine. Please do so. But right now, I got to stop because my food's here. It's 8:30. I wasn't expecting this, Carl. I know we promised that we were going to do this. I wasn't expecting it tonight, but my food just arrived and I'm really hungry, so I'm gonna have to stop it right there. But please, by all means, please send it.
Let me just finish. Let me just finish that one with we were talking about an innocent man. The 13th Amendment says that says that slavery has been abolished upon this land, except involuntary voluntary servitude, right? You can voluntarily be a slave, right? You could appear as a defendant, right? Or upon conviction. And what's a conviction? Conviction is a belief. Do you believe you're a defendant? Really? Dude, if you believe that you're a defendant, then you are a defendant.
Okay.
If you act like a defendant, they're going to treat you like a defendant. Okay?
Okay.
It's that simple. You voluntarily entered into their jurisdiction, under their control.
Neither slavery nor involuntary servitude, except as punishment for a crime wherever the party shall have been duly convicted, shall exist in the United States. So I don't see where it says.
Convicted.
What do you say? Voluntary.
Involuntary. What does it say at the beginning? No,
Is it neither slavery nor involuntary? You said voluntary.
That's right. So voluntary. You could voluntarily speak, but not involuntary.
But so basically being a defendant is voluntary servitude.
A slave is a man that had rights that no longer has them. That's the definition of a slave. A man
All right.
that
So
had rights
so a defendant has no rights?
He has whatever rights the court grants him, depending on what court you're in. If you're in my court, you have very limited rights.
So the defendant has
Whatever rights the court grants him, he can't use ecclesiastic law to support his case, can he? Sometimes they can't use the Constitution to support his case, can he? No. So he has certain limited rights. Unless he wants to use the 9th Amendment, then he uses the 9th Amendment so he could use any rights he wishes to use. How many times was the 9th Amendment brought up to the Supreme Court? 4 times. Every time the man has won.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha.
You know
Okay.
what the ninth is, right? Anything I want to bring into the court works.
Sure.
You guys don't. When was the last time you heard somebody bring up the Ninth Amendment? You hear the 10th Amendment all the time by these wacky, ridiculous people.
Long time since the last time I heard people citing the Third Amendment. Gotcha. Okay. Nobody does the Ninth. Nobody does the Ninth.
Of
course. So
right.
Okay. Thank you, Carl. We'll have to.
Then you agree. I'm a sovereign citizen, correct? I'm a sovereign citizen. We could all agree on that.
I do agree with that. That's my assessment.
Okay, because sovereign means sovereign citizen. It means God is the sovereign, right? And citizen is a member of the family. So if I'm a member of God's family, I am very okay to be called a sovereign citizen. So it's like a Roman citizen. They were very happy to be a citizen of the Romans.
Okay.
I am very happy to be a member of God's family. That's why the Jewish people were able to get away with not paying taxes and entering the military service wherever country they ever went. Just like the Amish. They could do the same thing. They're people of God. They only exist the one master, and that master is God.
Nailed it.
They purport to be sovereign citizens, the people of God.
Nailed it.
They don't hold any allegiance to the United States of America.
Gotcha.
They don't care.
Right on.
I'm a sovereign citizen, and I'm damn proud of it.
Neato.
I'm a
Okay.
member of God's family.
All right. Sounds good, Carl. We'll have to pick this up again another time. All right. You have a good night.
Alrighty. Take care, man. God bless.
Take care.
You.
God bless. Adios.
Goodbye.
Okay. Juan, that was fun. Was not expecting that at all. So I'm sorry the conversation got derailed. We only got through about half of it. But my food.
Well, I mean, he's been wanting to do it, so we got a little bit of it.
True. But I gotta eat my tacos. I'm hungry, so it's we're gonna have to end it here.
Ooh, Mandy looking good.
True. All right, you guys have a good night. Have a good one. Take care.
Thanks, Artie.
Yeah. Sorry it didn't go. Sorry it went in an oddball direction. But it is what it is.
I enjoyed myself. Thanks.
Fair enough. All right, guys. Take care of yourselves. Later.
My bitch a chew